Hello, Internet. It's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here talking about Nightflyers. Happy holidays, everybody. We are going to be probably a little late in doing our counterpart review because we're going to be opening gifts. And then we'll come back here and talk about counterpart. So stay with us. We'll have a couple other things that we'll show you over the holidays. One of those being what you're watching right now, Nightflyers recap of episodes 5 and 6. Greywing and the Sacred Gift. Okay. So these two episodes are pretty Lami-centric. I mean, you know, this is Lami's chance to shine.
Sure.
I think the actress that plays Lami does a fine job. I'm good with that.
Yeah, sure.
I will say it was a little odd. Episode 5, just generally speaking, episode 5 is about Lami's attempt to section off, imprison Cynthia, the spirit of Cynthia, in the computer, basically. So, let's make her locked away so we can be safe.
Yep.
Episode 6 generally is, hey, the new spaceship showed up. That was weird. Let's go over there and try to switch crystals out to again, put Cynthia over somewhere else so we're safe. Meanwhile, cult on other ship does horrible things. They manage to get away. That's generally, we'll talk about more, but that's generally the two episodes. So, episode 5, it felt like something like we missed an episode between 4 and 5. Because a lot of the ways the characters were interacting felt like time had passed.
Yeah. You
know, for instance, Lami is... Episode 5 is from the beginning. She's the one who's like, I need to go in there and I'm going to tackle Cynthia and I can beat her and I'm going to put her in a box and we're going to be great. That's not the Lami we'd seen through 4 episodes. 4 episodes in, she's like, don't put me back in. She was like cutting her arm to get rid of the circuits so she didn't have to go back in. I mean, she was terrified of Cynthia. I didn't see why she suddenly had a transition. The last time we saw her, she was communicating with the probe. The alien probe, which again, we didn't see the alien probe get destroyed. So that's another reason why I'm like, was there another episode? They just decided to take it out.
I feel like they're still working on they're still like, what is it with this genetic material? And blah,
they
blah,
got the genetic
blah,
material, but I don't know that they've got the big canister anymore. But anyway.
I guess it was turned into soup. Anyway, yes.
It just felt like her sudden strength of will and certainty that she could take on Cynthia, I didn't know that felt earned. I felt like, where did that sudden confidence come from?
Maybe it's from the, sexual awakening she had.
Okay, sure. All right, so that's one character. Other character that I thought was like, wait, what? Was Thale, our L1. The last time we saw him in episode 4, he was, remember, feeling the death of the other crew member, and he was like, oh, God, it's horrible, and he's freezing to death, and we have to find him.
Yes.
So then we cut to episode 5, and he's playing this really ill-advised practical joke on the crew where he's pretending to be bleeding to death.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's like, oh my God, guys.
Yeah.
But that didn't translate to, again, what we saw. He was like kind of devastated and, oh my God, I'm feeling everybody's death on the ship. This is horrible. That transition to, I'll play this awesome joke on him. This will be hilarious. I didn't see how that necessarily evolved to that character either. That character.
I mean, I feel like his character is doesn't feel connected to anything, and also isn't happy about it. And so he can have his thing like, we're all fucked, and then another time be like, oh well, I'm gonna fucking do this thing to fuck with everybody because I already don't connect to everybody. So why? It's not like now this is all that I can think of.
Okay. All right. I just felt like he had kind of turned from, the, hey, I'll screw with people to, oh my God, this is serious. That's kind of where I felt like he was, but apparently he's not.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, obviously the show doesn't either, so I was wrong.
I mean, he was fairly fatalistic, like we're all going to die.
Yeah.
But.
So in the meantime.
Yeah, really?
So yeah, he fakes his own death or his own dying scene, and everybody's freaking out, and then Agatha's like, everybody take a deep breath, close your eyes, and then he's fine again, and
Yeah, I mean, I guess what the traditional way of dealing with it in terms of a plot would be like, now we're all focused on it. All the characters that we like are all, but one of the things that things that I think is dependent on horror films is that people don't succeed in getting together.
Yeah, and also that people aren't always that likable either. Like it was kind of like he was moving towards like maybe a heroic arc. And then for him to do that is pretty dick move.
Yeah,
so it's like,
that's
okay,
him. That's
got
him.
it.
Don't forget,
he's not a hero.
Dick. Yeah.
Okay, understood. The other, I won't say personality, but relationship that I thought seemed again like there was maybe an episode where this relationship blossomed that I didn't see was Rowan and Tessa. So Tessa is the bee woman,
right?
And Rowan, and they had like a scene where he was like, "Oh, this blood, the DNA is alive and you can't kill it and whatever." And she's talking to him. They're flirting pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they've been together for a while. It's that conversation they had felt like they're a couple, but I didn't see that they were a couple before. Maybe they'd had like one conversation before. Anyway, I don't know.
I feel like they've had a couple.
Okay, maybe memory is not. Or it just felt like they were really close.
That's the way a TV show works.
Yeah, they're like,
pass
it to time,
not
move
the
on.
Main characters.
No.
So they had enough time to be talking, and all the times that other people were doing other stuff.
Which is why I felt like maybe there at some point had been more material, and they were like, nope, move on, let's get this thing moving. Anyway, I don't know, whatever. That is the state of being.
They're soulmates.
They're pushing these characters forward, so they're. All right, so confident Lami goes into the Matrix, essentially, but not before Agatha's got a great idea. Hey, that prankster guy, the guy who just pretended to be dead for everyone,
yeah.
Let's trust him. Let's put him. He can psychically link to Lami and then help her through her quest.
Yes.
So I think the idea is he's getting bored, so we should give him something to do so he doesn't keep pretending to die all the time. I thought that's what she said. It was like, he's bored. Give him something to do. All right, we'll give him a really important task.
They're in a perilous situation right now.
Could you give him the task of cleaning parts, maybe?
There's in a perilous situation right now. It's in his interest as well to solve the problem.
So he links in with Lami. So it's basically Lami is fighting Cynthia in this virtual mansion.
Yes.
And Thale is watching. He's the omniscient eye, kind of tracking what's going on. I don't think he can actually help other than just
seem like to
be able to like wake her up, I guess. That would be the thing. So we find out that Cynthia, the spirit of Cynthia, her virtual world is centered around her father's estate. I guess they were rich. It kind of makes sense if they were like invested in space technology and stuff like that, perhaps. Anyway, very early on, one of the first scenes we see in episode 5 is little girl Cynthia running away and hiding and terrified from her father, who's walking through this mansion looking for her. It's not necessarily an actual event. It's a memory, because the father isn't actually the father. He's got like, his eyes are all scratched out, like a photograph that's been like tick, 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 tick. Kind of remind me a little bit of Coraline with the people with buttons for eyes. Like, anyway, we get the idea that abuse went on.
Yes.
Father abused daughter Cynthia.
Yes.
And so, there's I'm like, oh, we can unlock the doors to the mansion.
Yeah. So and ultimately, Cynthia expresses to what is her name?
Lami.
Lami, that we're alike, even though she actually misunderstood the nature of her memories. So
she saw, because we'll talk about this, but there's the memory that Lami has of beating her dad's hands with a hammer, and I think Cynthia interprets that as, you hated your dad, you were attacking him. But it wasn't the dad that she hated, it was the society that made her forced her to do this horrible thing to her dad, who she otherwise felt fondly about. So,
Yes.
so Lamy doesn't actually feel affinity for Cynthia, and ends up trapping her in a room with her dad, with Cynthia's dad, and Cynthia are trapped in a room together, and then
Yes.
and then
I
Lamy
guess it's really
creates like a
Cynthia's conception of her dad.
correct with Mr. Scratched Out Eyes.
Yes.
I mean, a lot goes on there. I mean, a lot of time is spent in this mansion. Greywing is the name of the place, the estate, and there's a lot of crows around.
And we get a stronger
birds.
sense of why Cynthia does not want to go to meet the aliens, because she sees them as monstrous, and so she had to live with her father who was a monster, so why should she go out seeking it? So that's why she's resisting and nearly killing everybody on board.
And you get the feeling that they're basically saying, like, I wonder what Cynthia was like alive.
Yeah.
Because it feels like she was broken. It's not like they're saying, oh, she's a malevolent spirit. It's like she was a malevolent person because she was abused by her dad. It's kind of what I like. Was she great until the moment she died, and then as a ghost, all of her trauma came forward?
Yeah, we don't know.
Was she able to hide it better as an adult?
Although we get some sense, we now get another opinion about her from Augie, and what type of person she was.
Right. So yes, Augie, who is the second in command. He's Eris's second. I think that's the best way to describe him. He's a higher up, put it that way. He had a relationship with living Cynthia. She calls him like her bear. It's my brown bear or something like that. I forgot what she has a nickname for him, something bear. So they were probably intimate. It sounded like they were very close. And that plays into episode 6
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
unfortunate we don't have an independent view of that relationship, because it's like, as devoted as he is, it makes you wonder, was it healthy?
Oh, good point.
Was he just
he
like
stalking her?
Was he just like, oh boy, I love my first command. Ooh, order me some more.
Yeah. Order me virtual version of you. Whatever. But I will say this theory. After seeing, so Lamy locks Cynthia away.
Yes.
Obviously, that's not for good.
Oh no.
I mean, no way. And in fact, in episode 6, we see her in the beginning of episode 6 trying to I'm putting patches on the firewalls to keep Cynthia in. And Carl asked the question when everybody's at, wait, isn't she locked away? Why do you need to do more patching? But yeah, that's because she's going to get out. So the fact that in that episode 5, Cynthia, the spirit of Cynthia, traps Lamy temporarily in the house and then uses Lamy's path in to get out.
Yes.
And cause damage. We'll talk about that. But I think that's going to happen in the sense that I feel like this is almost a done deal. I feel like this is practically 100%. This is almost, I'm going to go with an 87% prediction that Cynthia, the spirit of Cynthia, takes over, possesses Lamy.
Oh. I was like, have you said it yet?
No, I hadn't. Until that moment. Mark it down. At some point in the last 4 episodes, Lamy is going to be the spirit of Cynthia.
Dramatically, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. You seem excited about that. Okay. One thing I'll just mention, because when Cynthia breaks out, she immediately basically tries to kill Carl.
Yes.
She starts suffocating him in his room, locks the door,
and
takes the oxygen out of the room.
Yep.
It's Augie, among others, that comes to the rescue, and Augie breaks the door, manually opens the door for him. But what's funny is Augie, the whole time he's doing is like something like, this isn't supposed to happen. Why is this happening? I'm like, dude, you realize how many horrible things are happening on this ship? Like, this is the thing? The door won't open? That's the thing that, put it over the edge? Wow, this door won't open. Huh. That is weird. I don't know. Come on, dude. He is then told that the spirit of Cynthia is, in fact, inhabiting the ship, which obviously means more to him than most.
Yes.
It's like, wait, my true love, she's still alive-ish.
Yes.
So that when in episode 6, the plan is, hey, this other ship showed up. We're going to go over there, take their crystal. The ships run on crystals. kind of like dilithium crystals, basically. I'm going to take their crystal and switch it out with ours because Cynthia is inhabiting the crystal. That's where her energy is. If we can move that away, she's still alive. She's by herself, theoretically, but she's alive in another ship. We're safe. And Augie's like, pretends to go along with the mission at some point, sees the crystal, and is
like nobody, I feel like anybody around him would not have any clue at all that he had any problem with until
the moment of truth.
Yeah.
He breaks the crystals, like, hell no, we're not going to torture the spirit of Cynthia this way. Interestingly, at the end of the episode, he informs Eris, Cynthia's son, the crystal's already smashed.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't do anything with it. Lami, who knows otherwise, is there with him and doesn't correct him. It's like, that's fine. Yeah, all right, no, I got it. I'm not busting your chops on this one. So they, most of episode 6 is taking place on this other ship, which is a little weird. First of all, that the ship showed up and no one could track it. Like, you kind of see it out the window and like, oh, well, there's a ship. It seemed like you would, because the whole time in the beginning they're like, oh, there's these particles that are hitting the ship, and is it the Volcran? We're not sure what this is. And like, you would think they'd have some kind of like a boop, boop, boop. Oh, there's a ship the size of ours over there, but they didn't. Anyway, technology isn't all it's cut out to be all the time. So they send a boarding party. It's Carl's idea. Let's switch the crystals out. Even though at this moment, Cynthia's trapped. She is contained.
Yes.
So there isn't an immediate threat.
No immediate, no.
They're just like, hey, she's probably going to get out.
But the fact that, you got to keep,
So
they're watching the show.
They're watching the show. Have you ever seen a horror serial? It's going to happen. She's getting out. Let's deal with this. So they go over.
Augie hasn't, but.
That's true. And in my mind, make a lot of stupid choices, but so be it. They basically find this cult of women. He did the Holy Grail reference there. Like, let me stay and face the peril. Nope, it's too perilous.
Unlike,
they have a little bit of peril?
Yes. Unlike that band of women, who were all between the ages of 17 and 19 and a half or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And they did not have a very pleasing way to milk them.
No. So
well, after a while, I guess. I mean, if you're really old, then it's okay. Then it's fun.
Yeah. The old captain's like, oh, hook me up. So they've got, it turns out, this group of women who've been surviving forever, like 15 years on this ship, aren't the best.
No.
You might have at least planned for that possibility instead of just like, oh, great, show us around. Also, they didn't bring any weapons or anything with them. I get it. They thought it was abandoned.
Yeah, they thought it was abandoned.
Well, maybe you've got a little sidearm or something with it. I don't know. Like, they were completely defenseless.
Yes, they were.
Also, it kind of bothered me that there was a smart move made, and then nothing paid off with it. So I think it's Agatha's like, wait, we can have Thale do a remote viewing and see what's over there. And so Thale, is viewing what's happening on the other side. And he's like, there's many people over there.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's awful. They're in trouble, basically. And no one does anything about it. It's not like, you've got more people, you've got more suits, you've got... certainly they do. That's a big ship with a lot of folks. They seem to be able to kill off like 10 an episode, and they're like, we got more. We got fodder. But they don't do anything with the knowledge, I guess. That was what was weird about it. They're like, oh yeah. Oh, yeah, there's people over there, and it's bad, and all our guys are probably going to die. Well, all right, thanks for telling us, Thale. You feel like you would do something with that knowledge.
What would you do? Send more people over?
Maybe you either send more people over, maybe you position the ship in such a way to...
Say boo.
Get in closer to dock with, I don't know. This time you bring guns. I don't know. Anyway, it felt weird that you had this guy go and tell you up front, yep, there's people over there.
I don't think that's what was happening.
Well, he says there are many people over there.
Yes, I think Thale's able to once they're over there. So by then...
Yes. Agreed. Maybe they should have done it first. Good point.
Well, I mean,
why don't you look,
they didn't have a way to
can't.
do it.
Yeah. He has have a dream right off the bat of women dissecting him.
Yeah.
And he says, this is coming from off the ship. So in other words, he was having a vision of them in this neighboring ship that was coming up to him.
Perhaps.
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
I think that was a certainly he was envisioning. Maybe he was visioning the future, but somehow he was tapping in.
Probably.
So the women are a bunch of scientists who were on this research vessel, blah 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 blah.
Mad scientists.
They don't even use that crystal that powers the ship. They don't need it because they have men that I think some of the men are for breeding.
Yes.
And some of the men are for food.
Yep.
And it's kind of like a Matrix again.
Yep.
It's like we use humans as batteries.
Well, batteries is food.
Food. Yeah. I mean, like something's
food.
powering the ship too, though. I just didn't know what that was.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, they had the battery bags and then the food bag. I don't know. They're cannibals. So there's that.
Yes.
Space cannibals.
Yep, space cannibals.
And they have a machine they hook up to the dudes to, milk them.
Yes.
And it's funny because there is, it's Rowan has this thing like, there are many other ways you could do this. That was maybe the funniest line that they've had in the series. Good point, Rowan. Well said.
Hook me up!
So it's at the end because Lamy and Mel are over there and they're female. They're going to be kind of accepted. Also, yes. Mel, her body is because she's the advanced human.
Yes.
Like her DNA structure was at least inspired by created. She said half of me is created by you.
Okay.
So the leader of this group was a scientist who helped create Mel's DNA. Whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
So they're going to accept Mel and Lamy. Hey, you can stay here forever and eat people. Lamy instead kills the leader, and then they run away from the screaming followers, who are distracted long enough so they're just behind them. So let's talk about Lamy real fast. What informs her choice to kill this woman, and her what kind of forms the background of her personality is this. Her growing up, we see flashbacks to her in this Luddite community.
Yes.
And she, as a girl, was being brought up, and when you say Luddites, you're talking about people that think basically technology is bad.
Yep.
Technology is the root of all evil. Let's live in a culture without technology. I'm simplifying it, I'm sure, but not being a Luddite, that's my version of it.
There you go.
So she lives in this society. Her dad is secretly teaching her computer skills. I guess he says something. He doesn't say she's the chosen one, but he says something like that, where he's like, your skills, da, 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 da. Like she's some kind of amazing talent, which, as we know, in later life she is, because she can plug into ships. But he's secretly teaching her. We see the townspeople arriving at their secret training location, and he puts the laptop up in the ceiling, but too slow. He gets found out, and so the village elders make Lamy, they strap the dad to a chair, and then they make her bash his hand with a hammer.
Yep. That'll teach him. That'll learn him.
That'll learn him. So I guess I was trying to think, she's not being punished, but I guess she's being punished for making her beat up her dad.
Yeah.
That's her punishment.
That's her punishment.
So when she sees this group, this cult that's living kind of off the grid, more or less, on this other ship, it kind of harkens back. She's like, I've seen this before.
Yep.
These people are crazy.
They're a cult.
Again, if I was... She caught on. It seemed like no one else was... The other people on the ship are the other people, like Carl was over there, Augie was over there, Mel, Rowan. They all, at some point, voiced the fact that these people seemed crazy, but then they didn't act on it. Like, if I was like, I think these people are crazy and may try to either detain us or kill us, let's leave. Like I wouldn't be like, let's walk around and see what that.
Right,
and like
well,
for instance, that crystal isn't getting that crystal and changing it is not, as we mentioned, life or death in that moment because Cynthia's locked away. The mission itself is not so critical that you couldn't just be like, let's just skip the mission.
Well,
I would have. I mean, you're surrounded by people that are, I don't know, that you're doubting their veracity.
Well,
you see a guy hanging from the rafters. I guess it was a suit.
This is a suit.
There's blood everywhere. There's
blood.
no guys around.
Right.
That was
it takes them a while before they see what the deal is with that.
I'm just saying. I think I would have said.
Because it's like
I'm gonna go check out the airlock and be back out of here.
What's her name?
Lami.
Lami talking about. She was the one who clearly was the most suspicious.
Yes.
I don't think Augie was suspicious.
Okay. Somebody says they're crazy.
Yeah, but
I think it's Rowan maybe.
Crazy like they're a harm to us, or just crazy? They're eccentric.
I would still get the hell out of there.
Well,
I'm just saying.
See, that's
it's like my boop, boop,
because it's not like they're running.
My ganglia.
It's not like they're running to
a
whole bunch of ships. That
I'm Saru from Star Trek.
It's not like they're running into a whole bunch of ships that aren't using their crystals.
Yeah.
It's not like, we'll see one tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I hear you. I would. The smart way that doesn't make for good TV.
And it's a horror movie.
Right. But the smart way that doesn't make for a good show.
Don't go in there. This is Matt.
Would be,
don't leave.
Right. Leave. Let's regroup. Oh, by the way, we have more information now. There's a bunch of crazy people over there. And they're like, there's something wrong with that place. Okay. Now let's send a bigger party over with weapons or whatever. Like you do it the safe way. Safe way. Let's turn the oxygen off on their ship.
Bigger party. That's
Thale. Why don't you psychically attack them all, and then we'll just go pick up the pieces.
Just because a little odd. That's all. They haven't done any acts yet against us.
Yeah, you're probably right. They haven't done anything. They'll kill them all. I don't know. I just went over there. They were all dead for some reason. Thanks, Thale.
I think you've been
appreciate it.
You've been too acculturated to Star Trek.
Yep. All right.
Protocol 5. Protocol 4.
Protocol. Okay, so the other thing we learned that's pretty pivotal for the show is Agatha is an L1 as well. So she is a telepath.
Yes.
We see Carl throughout these 2 episodes. He makes a decision to say, like, yeah, I think my relationship with my wife back on Earth is done. I'm going to let her forget about me.
Yep.
Because I got someone else here on the ship. Agatha, we're back. And so they definitely rekindle their relationship. Yep. And it's basically they're having sex at the end of episode 6. And he gets like a nosebleed or something. He's like, Eye bleed.
Because that's what happened to Thale when he was straining himself to communicate.
And he's like, you're an L1.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, Agatha is a telepath. That's why she's worked with, certainly, probably why she works well with Thale.
Yep.
Whether Thale knows that or not, maybe he does. But
yeah, at first I was thinking, like, is Thale inserting themselves into their liaison?
I thought about that too. I don't know. That's not for a fact, but that could be.
I don't think that's it, though.
Okay.
I think because he was all like, oh.
He could be. I mean, he's going to know, though, right? He's going to because he remote views into her mind all the time. He watches her shower and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She is also, we do see that ability, her telepath ability is what alerts everybody to the fact that Carl's dying. When the oxygen, Cynthia turns the oxygen off, she's like, wait, he's in trouble.
Right.
So she's like Leia and Luke uses the Force to go find him.
I'd forgotten about that because I think I was sort of like, how did she know? I thought somehow that the ship had communicated or something.
Yeah. But no. Oh, so another thing we learn, Cynthia, in an attempt to attack Lami's psyche, at one point, because Lami is trapped for a while, Lami thinks she's escaped.
Yes.
She's like, everything's fine. Yeah. Good. But everybody's acting weird. Yeah. And I like the way that the cast acted in that because they did a good job at like making it seem eerie without being so obvious at first. You're like, huh. But yeah, she's not in an act. She's in a virtual version of the ship.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Cynthia reveals to her through Mel is, hey, by the way, when you're having sex with Mel, you're being watched by Eris. and she takes that very, personally,
Yep.
and confronts Mel about it in the real world later.
Yep.
Which I understand, although I will say this. There's a big camera on the wall, and it's glowing.
Yes.
We know that just from watching the show, we know that anytime it's glowing means somebody's looking through it. So it's not like it was a hidden it's a camera on the wall that's I don't know. Like it wasn't deceptive, right? Because there's a camera and you can tell when it's on, and it was on while you were having sex. No?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it that critically, so maybe it is. Maybe
because it's like in a big open space on the wall,
right?
And whenever he's looking through it, it glows orange, and the camera moves and pivots. So it's like, yes, if she thought for sure, like there's no way that someone would be watching us, and you certainly wouldn't know someone was watching us. Okay, yes, I'm just thinking by what we've been introduced in the show. There's a camera that pivots and looks at you and glows.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm like, wouldn't everybody know?
I wonder, I haven't done a close watching of the show, so I don't know if they're doing little lights and pivoting things for the audience's benefit.
Yeah. I think we can assume
if the cast or the crew could actually look at it and be like, is he watching us now? Yeah, you can tell because that or not. So
I guess we can assume from her reaction that Lamy didn't know. For whatever reason whether it makes sense with the show or not, Lamy didn't know and is betrayed.
Yes, she feels betrayed.
And so she's cut off her relationship with Mel. I think Mel is still clueless as to why. Am I wrong, or did they solve that problem by the end of episode 6?
She asked her what the deal was, and she told her.
Oh, she did tell her? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that did happen. Okay. Yeah. All right. So they've at least cleared the air.
So she tried to explain, but she was like, forget it.
Yeah.
Like...
So Mel betrayed her trust, and so that relationship, at least for now, is at odds.
Yes.
What else? Those are the main things we learned.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we've got Agatha as an L1. That's probably not great in terms of having 2 telepaths on board. I don't know.
She's able to control herself much better than him.
Oh, there is something.
Getting a benefit. Like if they just scream at her, I'm being choked.
There was something. Okay, so it's in the realm of that guy who always gets abused, got abused again. So it's Murphy, who the guy I was telling you about before is like kind of like a red shirt, except he doesn't die. So he got really hurt in episode 1, then he got set on fire, but he survived all this time. Yes. So he's on a crutch, and he comes in after Thale has pretended to be injured, and he has this horrible story about, I forgot where he was. He was like some enclosed space. We were in a spaceship or something, and there was a little girl. She didn't know. She wasn't controlling her powers, but she just fed on the fear of everybody. And then I can't even look at my kid's face anymore because all I could see is the ripped out, like basically they ripped each other apart because this L1 was on board. And so he has these horrible nightmares of that. And you have later a shot of him trying to asleep in a healing tube because he's still burned, and Thale is trying to, I got the idea that Thale was reaching out to his mind, maybe trying to, he looks sympathetic on his face. So maybe he's trying to heal his memories or something. Maybe I'll give you a look of your kid that wasn't ripped in half.
Right.
So there's that. Then the other thing I just want to mention was the Luddite community. It struck me as funny that the father is teaching his kid how to use the computer in a Luddite community. It seems like maybe don't be in the Luddite community if you want to use computers. I don't know. Just like that's the whole point of it. It's not, it's like, I'm trying to think of a good example, but if I really love ice cream and I can't wait to eat ice cream, then I'm not going to then live at the Let Us Surprise You. I'm going to go and live at the Baskin Robbins. If that means that much to you, and it did, because as she's beating his hands, he's like, it was worth it. So it was so important to him to teach Lamy technology that he did it knowing he's probably going to get his hands bashed and maybe worse. Who knows later. But if that's the case, then leave. I don't know. Anyway, there's plenty of reasons why he couldn't have left probably. So we'll just leave it at that.
I'm sure there are.
And it sounds like she left after that with her mom.
Right.
Because there's a point where it's like, we have this replicator that can make anything. Just like, I want a silver surfer dog or something like that. It's like, when I was in the city, I used to get these hot dogs.
Right.
But that was like a very specific memory. Obviously not the Luddite community.
Right.
And so I think she said something like she was with her mom. So it sounds like maybe maybe the dad got
left
killed
behind.
Or left behind, okay.
And he had to distract them apparently. So that's why when they were, that's one thing that
loves him.
Augie was praising him, he was very brave to help you out like that.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Revealing his anger about the terrible things that were happening to Cynthia.
Yes. So anyway, those are a couple of extra little things. As I say, I think Lamy is going to be possessed. We're going to see some problems with Agatha being a telepath, or they're gonna, I don't know. There's something with that's going to be an issue as well. Sure. And we're getting closer to the Volcran, so the aliens are going to show up.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, there you go, everybody. We'll be back for episodes 7 and 8. And again, happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you next time.